With the return of the sunny weather, I'm back on the road searching for awesome mountain bike trails. Today I'm in the sunny south of England, and take a look at what I found.
Oh yeah.
Today I'm at QECP and I've come for a blast around the Blue Trail. I rode this trail a few years back after it had a major revamp, and it even won an award for its flowing berm sections. So a few years on, I've come back to see if the trail stood the test of time and to scope out some of the newer features here in the forest. The Blue Trail is a great warm-up, taking only around 30 minutes at a casual pace. There's also a slightly longer and harder red trail here, so warm up on the blue and then go and hit the red. Being positioned on a big hill, the first half of the trail is mostly climbing and the second half is almost continuous descent, just what we want. The climb starts on the fire road and then progresses to single track. It comprises a mellow woodland trail and plenty of switchbacks, which are all well in keeping with the blue grade. There's nothing too technical on the climb, and it's steep enough that your legs and lungs know that you're working, but it's just the right balance. As you can see, I'm riding my Voodoo Bizango Pro hardtail today. This is the perfect bike for the trail. Snappy on the climbs and light enough to be agile through the faster berm descents later on. I've ridden my full sus here in the past, but to be honest, it felt like overkill for the blue and red trails. I don't really think you need 160mm of front suspension here to ride the trails at QECP. A short travel trail bike would be perfect for the features here. At this point in the trail, I got my first taste of descending with a short section where the trail splits.
So we're going left, but there's a little red option.
I opted for the red line that features a small drop onto a bumpy surface. It then cruises along the top of the hill on a gentle but enjoyable single track line. Looking quite natural, there are a few trees and roots and bumps and things, but again nothing too technical. In fact, every feature on this trail is rollable, so it's perfect for building confidence or testing out a new bike. This short section is good for splitting up the climbs and adding in a bit of variation to the trail, but this descent is nothing compared to what's at the top of the hill. Often on this channel I talk about trails and how they're graded. This is graded as a blue trail, and personally I think they got the grade bang on. Both the climbing and descent are well in keeping with the difficulty and technical nature of a blue trail. And as you're about to see, the descents are still exciting. So once you've made it to the top of the hill, you've covered half the length of the trail, but from here, it's all downhill. Things start quite casually from the top of the hill, and I was putting in quite a few pedal strokes to keep my speed up. Last time I was here, most of the descent looked like this. It had a more natural and a bit of a rugged feel to it. There was one really obvious section that had been resurfaced and improved massively, and it was easy to see why it was held in such high regard. As I continued a short way down, I was really surprised to find that they've extended the berms and the trail improvements a lot further up the hill. This means that as soon as we entered this next section, we left the more natural looking trail and moved on to this hard packed gravel filled with plenty of smooth berms and mini kickers. With a few extra pedal strokes, you can just cruise along this trail. As you'll see, this descent puts a lot of other blue trails to shame with its fun lines and well-built features. Not to mention that from the top of the hill, you descend constantly until you're back at the car park again. For a short trail, this really is a long descent, which you can break up into smaller segments if you want to practice sections or rerun features. But all I know is that with these sweeping berms and flowing lines, this is hardtail heaven. Now, this may not be the fastest descent in the world, but it's really not trying to be. And yeah, this may not be the big mountain blue trail that I tend to go for, but these aren't necessarily bad points. This is a pure blue flow trail, and it's hard not to absolutely love it. With its fantastic sweeping lines and manageable features, this trail is for everyone. It's a roller coaster, smooth, flowy, and it doesn't disappoint. Heading into the section that won the award, I remember why I liked it so much. This is a well-planned line that promotes speed and flow. However, it was slightly sad to see that it was looking a bit unloved. The top layer of gravel was missing, leaving the chalky base as the main riding surface in a lot of places, which was a bit bumpy. But to be honest, it doesn't stop the trail being fun. This whole section feels like you're flying through the trees. Riding mountain bike trails like this reminds us how exhilarating and fun the whole experience is, because it combines the thrill of adventure with the beauty of nature. When you're out on a bike, the varied terrain offers an exciting challenge, whether you're navigating rocky paths, steep inclines or flowing descents. For a lot of us, being immersed in the outdoors provides a refreshing escape from daily routines, allowing all riders to enjoy the sights, sound and smells of the natural world. Cruising down the hill on this brilliant flow trail ticked a lot of those boxes. So with the flowing descent coming to an end, you pop out onto the fire road pretty much where you began. But before I headed back to the car, I wanted to check out some of the other new features that have been built here. QECP have recently added some skills areas. These are packed with a range of features for people to practice on, so I thought I'd give them a shot. Now personally, I tend to find skills areas a bit boring, but that's probably due to the fact that I'm a relatively competent rider. Don't get me wrong, they're a great place for younger or inexperienced riders to practice new features for the first time, but skills areas tend not to be maintained very well and they soon become unloved. That being said, I did enjoy this lot. This is one of the intermediate trails which has a few berms and a couple of short tabletops. If this is maintained well, it will be the perfect place for people to learn how to jump and practice their cornering. It does well to mimic a real trail in an easily repeatable location. And that wasn't all.
So I did notice hiding down in the forest here is the little blue trail. I think it's just one quick blast of single track that they've recently built, so let's give it a try.
Like I said, this has been built to replicate a typical section of descent on a blue trail, filled with some whoops, corners, jumps, the lot. Again, this will be a great trail to warm up on or for people to practice on if they're new to riding mountain bike descents. Unfortunately, today the sides of the trail were pretty overgrown, which meant that I couldn't really see any of the corners or jumps until I was already riding over them. Still, with a little trim, this is a nice addition for beginners. I'd be really interested to hear what you guys think about skills areas and practice features. Do you think they're a good idea? Do you ever use them? Let me know in the comments. But for now, that's the end of the ride and the end of the video. I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.